Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to the PHLY Flyers Pregame Show presented by Coors Light. Visit CoorsLight.com/PHLY Hockey to get Coors Light delivered or find a store near you. Let's take a second, crack an ice cold Coors Light. To the end of the preseason, that is right, in a mere 8 days, 10 o'clock next Friday, the puck will drop in Vancouver on the Flyers' 2024-25 season, and it feels like it has taken us forever to get here. Love that Coors Light. But it's been a long preseason. We've been eagerly anticipating this Flyers season like few in recent memory, at least, because of the debut of Matvei Michkov. He will, of course, not be in tonight's lineup. We do have one more game to get through. Today, it is a battle of the B squads. The Flyers, basically a bunch of guys who probably won't be with the team to start the season, plus a couple of NHLers: Garnett Hathaway, Noah Cates, Eric Johnson, the seventh defenseman. I guess we can call Ivan Fedotov a regular NHLer. But beyond that, it's pretty much phantoms and prospects. And that's, let's take a look at the lineup. And the first thing I wanted to point out tonight, we just start with the forwards here. We see number 15, Alexei, had himself quite a camp. We think there's a possibility he makes this at least as an extra forward. And then we jump right to number 18, Rodrigo Abols, conspicuously missing number 17, Jet Luchenko, the Flyers' 18-year-old phenom. I guess we're going to call him, because the kid's been 18 for about a month and a half, and he has a chance to make this team. And once we get to postgame, once we get through tonight's game, listen, I can't imagine there's a whole bunch of real hardcore analysis after tonight's game. You know, it is what it is. It's a couple of B squads. The Devils are overseas. You know, they're in Prague, wherever the hell they are. They have the Global Series coming up. They left whoever, Utica Comets, whatever it might be, prospects, back here to be able to play in this final preseason game. It is not a matchup of NHL squads by any means. Like I said, Flyers have a few guys in there, but it's pretty much a bunch of players who won't be with the team to start the season. And that just has me questioning Jet Luchenko. When I get a chance to talk to Charlie after this game, I want to know what he thinks about Luchenko's exclusion from the roster tonight. Does it mean, oh no, he's in the group that's going to Vancouver. He's going on this trip. He's going to get the 9-game tryout at least, and we'll go from there. Has the coach made his case to keep the kid around? Or is it just, we saw enough from you. You're tired. We're going to send you back tomorrow. I guess we will see how all that unfolds. But I am starting to think that Jet Luchenko is going to make this team. And listen, I know I was banging the table for it just a few days ago, going back to last week when you watched Jet Luchenko in the preseason games, the rookie game. He looked really, really strong. And I do believe physically he can hold up in the NHL. It's not like a Denver Barkey situation where it's like, I don't know, man, the guy's got some skill. He can play, but he's going to get killed out there. You can play at that size, but elite dudes, not your third liners typically. Jet Luchenko is, I think, big, strong, and physically mature enough to play in the NHL. It's just a matter of, does it make sense? Does it make sense for his long-term development? And as the preseason wore on, I kind of just said, I want more looks at this kid. He has something, and like I said, I think he could do it physically, but is it enough to warrant a spot in the NHL when it's clear further development is needed? We've talked about certain guys like Alexei, who is in the lineup tonight, where, he's 24, 25. He's had a few pro seasons. He's played in the SHL. He's had 2 full AHL seasons. What is the point of his further quote-unquote development? The only thing he has left is finding his game and finding consistency to maybe stick in an NHL lineup. he can't find that anywhere else but in an NHL lineup. So even if he's not playing every night, it makes sense for him to maybe be with this team. Jet Luchenko is such a different story. We've all liked what we've seen, and even in the games where it's like, yeah, didn't see much, there's been a flash here or there. The skating really stands out, obviously. The dude can flat out fly. His small area game, battles, just being in the right place, that hockey IQ, the maturity, whatever you want to talk about, it stands out. It absolutely stands out. But the idea is for Luchenko not to just be a third-line center one day. If that's ultimately what happens, if they're like, this is what he is, he's never going to have that dynamic skill, he's never really probably going to be in our top 6, okay. But if there is a possibility that he can develop further in terms of dynamic offense, ability to create, ability to score, create his own shots, create opportunities for others, I hate to say it because I was sitting here arguing with Charlie that why not? You can learn by doing in the NHL. I just don't quite think he's there. I just don't quite think he's ready yet to take on the workload of an 82-game NHL season. Now maybe he gets the 9-game tryout and they say, this was your taste. We just wanted you to see what it really is. You know, training camp, rookie games, preseason games. These are all steps, but it's not the NHL. It's not the best of the best every single night. And that's what the regular season would be. Starting out on this 4-game road trip, just kind of know what it is to be with your team and be away. Like, again, the kid is 18 years old. Yeah, he's lived with billet families and stuff, but he's never been on the road with a bunch of grown-ass men, which is what he would be doing to start the season. And then when the game starts, even if he flounders a little, if he's struggling out there, you can give him, okay, this is what you clearly need to work on. These are the things we're sending you back, and this is by no means a failure. We just wanted more of a sample size to look at you, just give you a taste and us be able to evaluate you further so we can tell you what you need to be working on. That would make sense. And maybe he shines in these first 9 games and they end up keeping him. But right now, I don't know if it makes a ton of sense for Jet Luchenko to make this team when there's just other guys who can play that role and you're not worried about, okay, well, how does he react when we send him back? How does he react when he's a scratch for a game? And he's all of a sudden, John Tortorella, he's been treating him with kids' gloves. He's been saying how impressed he's been with his camp, how much he loves his work ethic, how much he loves what he brings to this team. But then the season starts, and listen, you know I'm as entertained by anyone as John Tortorella, and I do think he's good for the young players to develop under and learn what it is to have an insane head coach who does really care about his players and wants to put them in the right situation. But once that puck drops and the regular season starts, John Tortorella is trying to win games. He is no longer the guy who thinks that, oh, he's going to develop nicely. We really like his work ethic. He is a demanding coach, and he's especially demanding of the players in his top 9 doing the things it takes to score goals and create offense at this level. If all of a sudden Jet Luchenko isn't getting that, how's he going to react to that? But I think these could all be good learning experiences for him. It's just going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to get Charlie's take on the situation, what he thinks Jet Luchenko's exclusion tonight means. It's odd to me, unless maybe he's just tired. We talked after Monday and Tuesday's game. Tuesday especially, the team just looked as if they had very little in the tank after what was, by all accounts, a typically draining John Tortorella training camp. It's not surprising to me that the guys aren't dressed tonight. First of all, it's the Albany River Rats on the other side. I don't want Matvei Mishkov getting run by some ECHLer. So it makes sense for most of the NHL guys not to be playing tonight and to have a mostly AHL lineup. And there's some other guys, Oliver Bonk, some prospects still hanging around like Bonk. But I have this feeling that him not playing tonight is kind of, all right, you're in. Because why not get another look at him, right? Especially if you know you're sending him back. If you know you're sending him back, you're the home team tonight. Give the fans the kid. You're not giving them Mishkov. You're not giving them Konechny, Tippett, Drysdale, Sanheim, any of the dudes that someone may have actually paid to buy a ticket to see. At least Jet Luchenko is sort of an attraction. You know, he's first round pick, 18 years old, might make the team, really fast, fun to watch when he's going. But he's not in there. And if I had to guess, and I might be totally wrong about this. There might even be someone already like on Twitter going, actually, they sent him back already. I don't know that. As far as I know, that's not the case. I don't think they've announced, Jet Luchenko, he's going to be with us on October 11th in Vancouver. Like, I don't think any of those announcements have been made yet. So I'm just sitting here thinking, in a lineup that's all dudes who aren't going to be here, just give them one last look. Like Oliver Bonk. Oliver Bonk is not making this team. Adam Ginning, who the coach just the other day straight up said, he's had a bad camp. He actually lost the position I had him penciled into. He was the 8th defenseman, and now that's Emil Andre. Andre also in the lineup. Makes sense. Again, just a guy you want to get as many reps as possible. But I really wonder if this means Jet Luchenko has made the team. You look at who is in the lineup, and the guys who stand out most, the guys Charlie and I talked about yesterday. Alexei, who we think makes sense because of the situation he's in. He's no longer waiver exempt. There's nothing else for him to learn in the minor league level. It's NHL or bust for him now. It's either NHL or you're a quad A guy for life. You'll bounce back and forth, but you're going to be a phantom who gets call-ups. It's now or never for Alexei. And Anthony Richard, Tony Dick, he is in here as well. And John Tortorella, again, just the other day said, is this some sort of note that I need to know here, Bren? Okay, all right. Just making sure I'm not saying something that's completely incorrect. No, you're good. I appreciate notes. No, it's just the other day, John Tortorella about Tony Dick, Anthony Richard. I'm going to keep calling him that because it's very fun. Was just saying, listen, he's had a really good camp for us. I've liked what I've seen. He's going to get a chance at some point, but it might not be to start the season, which is basically John Tortorella showing his hand and being like, yeah, Anthony Richard, nice camp, and he's taking risks for us. We like that. We need to create some offense somehow, but I don't see it to start. That leaves me with it's Alexei or it's Luchenko. And based on what they're giving us now, like this is the lineup. It's Luchenko, much like the rest of the NHL guys, except for 3 dudes, not in the lineup. And like it makes sense that maybe Garnett Hathaway's in this lineup, because if this is going to be a little bit of a runaround game, maybe some of the Devils youngsters, maybe some of their AHL guys, whoever it might be. Yeah, they're looking to make a name. They know they got left behind while the rest of the team's over in Czechia, and yeah, maybe they're going to throw their weight around a little bit. Maybe they're going to try to have a good old fashioned, like we saw, good old fashioned barn burner, like we saw between Toronto and Montreal. Well, then you probably want one of the Flyers' tough guys in, and Sawyer Bolton's in, but Garnett Hathaway, a veteran who can protect some of the younger guys. And also maybe, I know this is a funny thing to say about Hathaway, but maybe keep a lid on things a little bit. And I don't mean like, he's going to be breaking up fights, but just, hey, everybody relax. Like this is not a real game. We're not doing this tonight. Like, and if he has to throw one hit just to calm everyone down or whatever it might be, like it makes sense that he's in the lineup. And Noah Cates, listen, I like Noah Cates. I want to see what more he has. I think ultimately he's a 4th liner, but I think he's a decent enough player. He is a guy who might find himself on the outside looking in, especially early in the season, as they've told us, at least we believe, Nick Delorier is going to get some playing time early. Maybe Ula Lixell is in. Maybe Jet Luchenko is in. If they have 14 forwards, that means 2 guys have to sit. In that case, Noah Cates might very well be one of those 2 guys. If that is what happens, I can see this game kind of being all right, Noah, show us something. Go out there and show us something for tonight. And as we're getting through tonight's pregame, I want to remind you all to enjoy a nice cold Coors Light while you're watching. Maybe this game does get a little hot. Maybe everyone does need to choose to chill tonight. And if that's the case, there's no better way to chill than with that ice-cold Coors Light. So whether you're worrying about the 18-year-old making the team or not, whether you're worried about how the coach is going to handle this lineup, whatever it might be, make sure you grab yourself an ice-cold Coors Light, because when those mountains are blue, it's chill time, baby. And I know after this, we have 8 days. I am going to be absolutely chilling. I am going to be chilling, waiting for that regular season to start. And I think you all will too. This is one of the most anticipated seasons in a while. So for these next 7-8 days before the opener, make sure you choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Drink responsibly. Got to be 21 or older. Visit CoorsLight.com/PHLY hockey. All right, let's get to some picks here as well. And this pregame pick segment is brought to you by Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, so taking a look at the odds for tonight, because, my God, if we have to watch a B squad versus B squad preseason hockey, preseason finale game, why not bet on it? Why the hell not? Looking at the goaltenders tonight, it's going to be Fedotov to start. And Charlie tweeted earlier, it sounded like Kolosov will be getting in maybe at the midpoint. It sounds like they're going to split this game. You look over at the Devils side again, B squad. I think there could be some penalty minutes tonight. I think there could be some sloppiness. I think a lot of guys are going to want to show off tonight and just one last chance before they get sent back to the American Hockey League. So let's bet that over 5.5 at -120. And as always, remember, especially, I hope I don't have to say this to anybody when it comes to preseason hockey. Beer and pizza money. We are not putting the mortgage on over 5.5 in this Flyers Devils, Utica Comets, Lehigh Valley Phantoms game that we're going to be watching tonight. But just taking a look at the odds, I figured, why not? Root for some goals. Goals are fun. We all love goals, so let's root for them. Over 5.5 tonight. And I was just taking a look at some futures a little bit earlier over on Bet365. Bet365, it's never ordinary. Matvei Michkov to win the Calder Trophy. It's down to +350 at Bet365. And so maybe if you didn't get it at +450, 4-1, maybe you don't want to get in now. Maybe if Cutter Gauthier or Lane Hudson or something gets off to a hot start to the season, suddenly their odds shorten. Maybe you get a little bit better of a deal on Michkov if you're still high on him in a few weeks, a few months, whatever it might be. Maybe you come back. Maybe you come back to this Calder market after you get a little bit more information. But we did our prediction show the other day, Charlie, Kelly, and I, and I decided I was going to be optimistic about Sean Couturier. I decided, why go into the season pessimistic about the team's captain, longest tenured guy on the team, a player who has had 5 top 10 Selke finishes and won it just a couple of years ago. Looking at the Selke odds, and if maybe you liked that prediction the other day of Sean Couturier bouncing back, you can get Coots at 75-1 on Bet365. If you think he could have that comeback season, like I said, it's not as if people don't know Sean. Like, it's not, the Selke Trophy. It's the joke on Puck Soup is always, it's who played great defense 3 years ago. Well, that very much includes that's Sean Couturier's bread and butter right there, man. He is outstanding work, bringing up our predictions from the other day. So I have Coots winning the Selke, and you can get him at 75-1. You know the voters. They're not trying to learn anything new. Who are the best defensive players I knew from 3 years ago? They're the ones I vote for. If Sean Couturier has the comeback season, if he ends up being this team's number one center, if he doesn't have to focus as much on offense because Michkov is doing that, because some of the younger guys are doing it, and Coots can just have a 55, 60-point season. I know that's asking a lot for a dude who fell off the face of the earth in the second half last year. But if you can just get some offense out of Coots, his name, I believe, will show up at least somewhere in the Selke conversation at 75-1. Why not sprinkle? Why not a little bit of a sprinkle for fun? You know, if it's right, why not profit off of it? And if not, well, did you really expect a 75-1 to come home on the Selke trophy? And I just wanted to check in on the Jack Adams, the Coach of the Year award, because we didn't predict it the other day. Because who do you think is not going to be good? That team that ends up being good, that's the Coach of the Year every year. Just what did they do last year? What did they do this year? If it's a big rise, boom, you get the Jack Adams. I think Tortorella's year to win it was last year. If they made the playoffs, he has a hell of a case. They, of course, didn't. You can get Torts at 22-1. But like I said, I kind of think his time is up on the Jack Adams, at least for like this current iteration of the Flyers. Maybe in next year they're like pushing for the President's Trophy or something, and then sure, yeah, he's back in the Jack Adams. But I think his time with this rebuilding, overachieving group was last year, and not winning it. It's like I think your money might be better spent elsewhere in the Coach of the Year market. So those are just a few of the things I'm looking at over at Bet365. Make sure you check out Bet365 and use that promo code PHLY365 when you sign up. All right, a couple other things I just wanted to take a look at in tonight's pregame. First of all, brought to you by Coors Light. Make sure you drink your ice-cold Coors Light while you're chilling with tonight's game, because I think we're going to be chilling. I don't know if this is going to be a high-octane affair, but maybe. Maybe it blows up. Maybe we have a couple of melees, just as long as no one gets hurt. But Fedotov's starting. Kolosov's going to come in, allegedly, maybe at the midway point. This isn't a competition. Charlie tweeted earlier. Darryl Williams, one of the Flyers' assistants, says that Ivan Fedotov will get the start tonight, and then Kolosov will come in at the midpoint. So sounds like the two goalies, our Russian and Belarusian tandem, will be splitting the goaltending duties tonight. And this thing, I won't call it a competition currently. Like if Fedotov is just okay and Kolosov is really good like the other night, I don't think that means Kolosov is going to be up here to start the season. I'd be very surprised by that. We don't know what sort of side deals were made to get him eventually to come over here, so maybe it's like, oh, the Flyers are going to carry 3 goalies. All this stuff about carrying, 14 forwards or 8 defensemen, actually none of it matters. We're going to go with 3 goalies. I do think that this is at least just some data that they can point to if something needs to be done down the road. The pressure is kind of on Fedotov, and I know he's got the money. He's got the 2-year deal. So at the end of the day, like, all right, he's making almost $4 million a year. He's not going anywhere, maybe. But if Kolosov is really good, and he's looked good so far, not that we have a huge sample size of either guy, but Kolosov to this point has looked better than Ivan Fedotov has. This could come into play at least as one of the things they point to, like, this is the data we see, this is the information, this is the evaluation we made. There's a chance Kolosov gets a call sooner than we're all expecting. And what better than competition to bring out the best in the netminders? Now, right now, because I think, like, maybe there was a world where this is almost a 3-way split, and we're not sure about Sam Ersson, but at least for the preseason, he's looked really good. They've said he's the number 1. I think they very much are invested in finding out what they have in Ersson this year, and then the other 2 are kind of going to have, even though they're going to be, at least probably to start, one in the NHL, one in the AHL, the competition is kind of between Fedotov and Kolosov. Well, we get to see both tonight, and I know Fedotov has the crazy story, and I want him to get his shot, and hopefully it all works out for this guy. He makes himself into an NHL netminder and gets a few years in the league. He is almost like 29. It's not as if he's got all the time in the world, and that's part of the reason I think it makes sense to give him the shot to start up top in the NHL. But I could see this going a different way, and I'm not saying I'm rooting for Kolosov because, like, dude has a lot to prove. He's sitting at home. He's kind of sulking. He doesn't want to come over. Maybe one day we'll get this story. We have to get it eventually, right? At least some sort of explanation for why he skipped development camp, he skipped rookie camp, and he was a week late to training camp. We got to get some sort of explanation for all the drama that unfolded at some point. But if he's just here and he's good, man, that's quite a turnaround, and it'll be quite a feather in Danny Briere's cap. And, you know, with the Future is Bright segment we talked the other day, like, all these goalies, we might just be killing time until, you know, Igor Zavragin gets over. Zavragin just turned 19, and he's off to an amazing start in the KHL. Goalies get hot. That could mean something. It could mean nothing ultimately, but they think they really have something in Zavragin. But until then, someone has to play net, and I don't know. I'm just getting this feeling that Kolosov, I know we were all like, well, how good is this guy anyway? And that was, maybe it was a little bit of cope because we're like, oh, he doesn't want us. Well, I don't want him. He probably stinks. And now that he's here, it's, ooh, well, this is fun. It's a new guy. I thought we lost this guy already, but he's here. I wouldn't say I'm rooting one way or the other, but I'm very interested in seeing how this is going to play out in net for the Flyers with this Kolosov-Fedotov possible competition. Maybe not right now, but it could be in a few weeks, a few months, maybe next season. This could be maybe a three-way goalie split. Maybe it's not as if anyone is going to claim Fedotov on waivers at that price if he's not killing it for the Flyers. So he could find himself in the AHL even at some point. We'll see how all that plays out, though. Tonight is just kind of, all right, one last look at certain guys like Oliver Bonk, Alexei Kolosov, dudes who are getting sent back. And I do think this is a big night for Oliver Bonk, too. Bonk, we know he's not getting sent back. We know that the coaching staff was, they basically said they were disappointed in all the defensemen except Emil Andre. But Bonk was, you know, I think Tortorella and Brad Shaw were maybe hoping that Bonk was a dude they could make the case they're going to make for Jet Luchenko, a kind of bang the table. I need this kid here. He's ahead of where you think he is. And Bonk is still a very good prospect, but he ain't ready yet. And that's very apparent. But we get one more look at him. And while it's not NHL competition tonight, it is AHL competition. So maybe he can make a few plays and stand out to a level he has not yet. All right. Couple minutes left. Let's hit those super chats. All right, one super chat here from, I wonder if it's the real Lorne Michaels. How fun would that be? If Kolosov fights someone, should he be the number one goalie? Yes, absolutely. If we get a goalie fight, if we get that sort of line brawl where the goalies end up fighting and it's Kolosov, I mean, who would want? I can't imagine anyone would want to mess with the 6 foot, what is he, 6'7", 6'8" Fedotov. That would just be fun to watch, a dude that big have it in a goalie fight. But yeah, if Kolosov, if there's a line brawl tonight and we see Alexei Kolosov drop the waffle board, drop the glove, and mix it up, 100%, he should be the number one goalie. There's nothing better than a fighting goalie. I mean, look at this. Look at our history. Ron Hextall, Ray Emery, maybe he's the next in line and we didn't even know it. He's clearly maybe a little bit emotional. You know, maybe made some emotional decisions this offseason that he ultimately regretted, but he's also a goalie. So little emotional, little insane. You could always get a goalie fight. Who knows? I'm actually rooting for that tonight, Lauren. I am rooting to see the goaltenders scrap in a what is essentially a fake game between the Flyers B team and the Devils B team. All right, that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Coors Light. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. We'll be back right after tonight's action goes final with a post-game. JP will be joining me. Charlie will be joining us from the Wells Fargo Center. I see we have one more super chat. We will get to Gary B. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. All right, to close it out is our boy Gary B. If there's a name for a goalie fight and score, is there a name for a goalie fight and scores a goal? Man, I guess we have to call it the Hextall, like, right? Because he's the guy who scored. He's the goalie who scored, and he's the goalie who fought. So it's like it's the Hex trick, maybe. Is that what we call it? The Hex trick? A goalie if you fight? Because Ivan Fedotov clearly wants to score. He's a hell of a puck-handling goaltender. So we'll see. If it ever happens, Gary, we'll come up with we'll call it a hex trick. All right, and that's it for real this time. This has been PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Coors Light. Choose chill, baby. CoorsLight.com/PHLY hockey. All right, my name is Bill Matz. I will see you in postgame, fam.
We all silly like the mayor.